Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chloe, and today we're going to talk about soul urge number 7, also known as your heart's desire number. This number comes from the vowels in your full birth certificate name, and it describes the private side of you, the part that not everyone sees, but the part that motivates your choices and drives you forward in this life. Your soul urge number shows what your heart truly desires, wants, and what your soul is longing to experience in this lifetime. Your soul urge is a desire. Think of it as an inner compass. It points you toward what will bring you growth and fulfillment, true satisfaction. But you will have to walk that path to experience it. When your soul urge lines up with your life path number, life feels smoother and more aligned. But if you're someone like me who has conflicting life path and soul urge numbers, when they conflict, you may feel torn between what your heart wants and what your life circumstances are pushing you toward. Either way, this tension creates growth because it forces you to learn balance. It's not bad if you have conflicting numbers in your chart. It may be more challenging than for someone who has a life path and soul urge number both 4, whereas someone who has a life path 5 and a soul urge number 4. Those are conflicting energies. One wants freedom, the other wants stability. It doesn't mean you're doomed because you have conflicting energies within you. As humans, all of us have conflicting energies somewhere within us. If your soul urge number is 7, your heart longs for knowledge, study, depth, deep insight. You're not someone who's satisfied with surface level answers. You want to get to the root of things. You want to know why life works the way it does. You want to ask the deeper, more meaningful questions. This desire shows up in the way you approach everything. You study things in depth. You look for patterns. You prefer to base your understanding on facts rather than on shallow opinions. You're not easily swayed by the minds of others. People with this soul urge number have a natural gift for analysis and research. Once you grasp the facts of a subject, your mind naturally expands them into something bigger, into bigger ideas and philosophical meaning. This is where your creativity shines. You're not someone who just memorizes information. You want to connect it to something larger. You also enjoy puzzles, riddles, or even fixing broken things because your mind is wired to take something apart, understand it, and put it back together in a better way. For example, if you were interested in health, you wouldn't just stop at eat vegetables because they're healthy. You'd want to know which vegetables provide which nutrients, how the body absorbs them, and what that means for long-term health. Then you might go further, wondering about the connection between diet, energy, and even spiritual well-being. That's how a 7 mind works. You always want and do go deeper. Because of this constant drive to study and think, you might seem introverted to others. People may see you as cool, standoffish, or aloof because you often keep to yourself. In reality, you're not necessarily trying to push people away. You just value quiet. You value privacy because that's when your mind is its sharpest. There's this image of the hermit, the monk, or the scholar who devotes themselves to a life of study and solitude, often resonating with these people. That doesn't mean you have to live on a mountain in isolation, but it does show how much you value alone time. For you, solitude is not loneliness. It's a chance to reflect, recharge, and to focus. Solitude can be a double-edged sword. It can be healthy, but if you stay in it too long, you risk becoming disconnected from others. The lesson here is to use that solitude as a tool for growth, but not for an escape. This brings us to one of the main challenges for soul urge number 7, relationships. Because you prefer logic, facts, and clarity, emotions can feel unpredictable and unreliable to you. You might even distrust feelings altogether, both your own and those of others. You want to know how to solve a situation. You often want to solve problems by analyzing them, when what the other person in the relationship may need is emotional support, especially if you're a man and your partner is a woman. But all humans in general can connect with this. Women are just more inclined to want a partner that listens instead of tries to solve their problems. And men are inclined to try to solve problems. So yeah, this tendency can make relationships feel impersonal or distant. It's not that you don't care. In fact, you do care deeply, but your natural instinct is to focus on solution instead of emotion or problems, which can leave partners or loved ones feeling like you don't understand them, even though you're trying to help in the way that you know best. So maybe one piece of advice for this challenge is to ask what your partner or friend, family member, whoever it is that is in need of nurturing, emotional support, emotional awareness, is to ask them, would you like my advice or do you just need me to listen? And sometimes asking that can be the most powerful thing before you respond to their dilemmas. The lesson for Soul Urge 7 is to build trust and to open your own heart. You need to learn how to balance logic with emotional vulnerability. Sharing your feelings, even in small ways, creates enormous growth for you. Without this, there is a risk of isolation, loneliness, or cynicism about connection and love. But when you take the step to share honestly with someone you trust, you find deeper satisfaction and connection. For example, let's say your partner comes to you upset about something at work. Your instinct may be to say, well, here's how you should handle it, and immediately list solutions. But often what they need first is just to be heard. A simple response like, that sounds frustrating, I can see why you're upset, can make all the difference. Then once the emotions are acknowledged, your natural strength of analysis can step in to offer solution. This very small shift creates trust and shows the balance between your head and your heart, which is key with this number. At your best, you are a teacher, an advisor, and a natural guide. The knowledge you gather in life is not meant to be locked away. It is meant to be shared. People naturally come to you for clarity because they sense your depth and wisdom, your ability to see past surface details. When you share what you know in a way that helps other people, you step into the higher calling of this soul urge number. You feel more fulfilled. You have a strong intuition. So when you take time for reflection, meditation, or prayer, your inner voice becomes one of your greatest allies, and it becomes stronger. This intuition works alongside your rational mind. You have the ability to combine facts with inner wisdom, which makes your guidance both grounded and inspiring. Over time, people are drawn to your presence. As you get older and more comfortable with who you are, your refinement and wisdom stand out even more so. People notice that you don't waste words and that when you speak, it matters. Now, let's look at Soul Urge 7 from a soul evolution perspective. Why would someone carry this energy in their heart in this lifetime? Often it reflects imbalances from past lives. In one lifetime, you may have misused knowledge, you may have had access to wisdom or spiritual authority, but used it to control others or to gain status rather than to help. So in this life, your soul may be drawn to seek truth for its own sake, to cleanse that misuse. Or maybe in another lifetime, you may have avoided reflection altogether, Maybe you lived too superficially, focused only on material things or only on appearances. In this life, you are pushed inward to develop both depth and self-awareness. So maybe in a past life, you misused your sacred time alone. Instead of being used for growth, solitude became isolation out of bitterness, pride, or even fear. This could lead to a heart that now craves solitude, but with the higher purpose of healing and reflection. Whatever the case is, these examples of past life imbalances explain why Soul Urge 7 is focused on truth, trust, and wisdom in the present, in this life. It's about redeeming the energy of knowledge and solitude and using them in a way that creates growth instead of harm. For a Soul Urge 7, growth doesn't come from ignoring your natural strengths. It comes from balancing them. Continue to study, research, and analyze because those are your gifts. But also practice balancing that with sharing and trusting, and to also build connection with other people. If you find yourself researching endlessly without making a decision, practice setting a limit. Gather enough information, then take action. Even if that action doesn't require speaking, like for instance, I'm sharing the information I gather with you here on YouTube. That may not be for you, but you still need an output for all the things you input into your brain. So maybe for you, it could be as simple as gathering information, doing your research, and then writing about it, or calling a really close friend to share that information with. Regardless, the information that you get needs to be balanced in the way of input and output. It needs to be of equal input, output. Also, if you feel the urge to withdraw when you're stressed, communicate that with others instead of just disappearing. Saying that you need some space but like that you'll come back and talk later, it builds trust in your relationships while still giving you the space that you need. You are essentially respecting yourself and the needs of others, because others need to know that you're not just ghosting them because you're not interested in them, because you are more interested in yourself or whatever. By telling other people when you need space or when you need quiet time, you're respecting their emotional needs and building trust. If emotions make you uncomfortable, start small. Practice naming what you feel in simple words like, I feel this way, like I feel calm, I feel tired, I feel frustrated, I feel whatever it is. You don't have to explain everything at once, but just naming one feeling at a time. These small steps can build emotional trust in your relationships as well. To summarize, if your soul urge number is 7, you are someone whose heart longs for knowledge, study, and deep understanding. You dislike shallow opinions and prefer to look beneath the surface of everything. You are naturally gifted in analysis, research, and teaching. Your challenge is learning to trust emotions, both your own and others, and to share your heart as well as your mind. Without this, you risk isolation. But when you learn balance, you grow into a wise teacher and advisor who inspires other people. From a reincarnation perspective, your soul carries this number to redeem past misuses of knowledge, solitude, disconnection, or belief. In this life, you are asked to seek truth with integrity, to balance reason with emotion, and to use your insight to help other people. Remember, your soul urge is not automatic, it is a desire. Fulfilling it depends on your effort, the opportunities that life hands to you, and intention. But every step you take toward your soul urge, your heart's desire, it brings growth. Even partial fulfillment matters. You can't expect to fulfill your heart's desire 24/7 all the time. You could go years without fulfilling it and then years with fulfilling it. It's a spectrum. For the 7, every insight gained, every moment of trust built, and every truth shared brings your soul closer to the wisdom it has been searching for across lifetimes. Thank you so much, Soul Urge 7, for watching. If you are still here, leave me a blue heart in the comments so I know you made it to the end. I'd also love to hear if this description of Soul Urge 7 resonates with you. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.